So, hello and welcome. My name's Steve Nobel, and today I'm speaking with Elena Angel on the subject of relationship, sexuality and spirituality. Elena is the ultimate life sex coach, and through her consulting practice, teaching and writing, she helps individuals integrate sexuality, spirituality, and bring new joy, fulfillment and creativity in their lives and relationships. And her website is elenaangel.com. There'll be a link going out with this podcast. Elena, good morning.
Good morning, Steve. So good to connect with you.
Yeah, how are you today? All right?
I'm very well. I'm very excited about today's discussion. As you know, it's one of my favorite topics.
Yeah, well, relationship, sexuality, spirituality, it's a very exciting subject for many. How did you get involved in this field, first of all?
It has been a lifelong journey, the search for meaning and understanding, and also cracking this thing called relationship. Historically, as a young person, I was very shy, very introverted, and couldn't quite get how the small talk worked out. It was very hard for me to connect, and I just kept seeing people hurting each other. And I did fall in love a few times, as a young woman, but I was not so happy in love. I tend to be miserable in love and in pain in love. And it just really pained me, and I could see this a deep sorrow inside. I could feel it. So very early on, I started to look at that and started to challenge my ideas about myself and relationships and what it was all about. At the same time, I was very spiritual. I had a deep longing to connect with spirit and to commune really with the divine. And the background that I come from is Greek Orthodox, and the religious imperatives, let's say, and models didn't quite fit with my own feeling. So I did feel sexual energy in my body. It did feel wonderful, but at the same time, it somehow wasn't accepted. There was no way of being with that and still being spiritual as a conservative Christian. Yeah. So I really struggled with that, and I just couldn't get it. And I felt a lot of guilt and shame about my sexual feelings. But the Virgin Mary was not an archetype I could aspire to.
I can understand why.
Yeah, totally. and so I kind of felt like, surely I wasn't a bad person, I was a good person, but why couldn't I fit in? And I felt more like the Christ on the cross, to be honest. And I really was suffering with that. There were also a lot of double standards, with men having all this freedom to be sexual, to explore, and isn't it great when a man has many girlfriends? But for a girl, it was not okay, to have boyfriends and to be more open sexually. So I really suffered with that. And as I was growing up, I was exploring spirituality. I looked at mystical schools, and I was working through my personality issues and my shyness and my insecurities and my mistrust, and just finding ways to be sexual that was somehow more honoring and respectful of myself and also of others. Working my way through all those paradigms. The porn influences and the suppression of the feminine and all those injustices socially. So it was a difficult journey, but what happened was at some point in my 30s, because it did take a while to get to somewhere good with it all. In my 30s, this deep longing for spirit and connection led me to meditation. And I was really looking for that, something to fulfill me, because nothing really was. Even love affairs and romance and travel and my music and my career, it just wasn't fulfilling. And I still hadn't joined all the dots, and this spirituality still wasn't embodying. I couldn't quite get there. And I did this meditation. It was by Bert Goldman. And it was called Find Your Soul Purpose. And I thought, yeah, I'll do that. Maybe that's the answer to my problems.
Right.
And so I did this little meditation. It was only 10 minutes or so. But I was very genuine in my quest, and I was very genuine in my willingness to see that thing, whatever it was, that surely held the answers for me. And I did this meditation, and it totally surprised me. And I had this vision just out of nowhere. And I've written about it. I'm not going to tell you what the vision was, but I will tell you that I didn't get it. I didn't get it at all. I thought, what is this thing? What am I supposed to do? It's like there was no guidance. Oh, now you do this or you do that. Or there was no clear image of what my life would look like. Nothing at all. But I did have a very strong vision. And in that moment, I just surrendered to that. I just put it out to the universe. Okay, well, whatever this thing is, which I really don't understand, I'll do it. Okay, I'll do it. Help me then. Help me, because I don't know how. And somehow it worked. This alignment and this willingness to commit to that thing, I started to work magic in my life. And I started to have these encounters with people. Because the universe works through people, doesn't it?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, and I started meeting these extraordinary people just in very strange ways. Like this amazing synergy started to occur, and synchronicities and serendipities. And I found myself in unlikely places, meeting unlikely people who somehow had important pieces of information for me. And they would tell me this one thing, and somehow it would light a bulb in my head and go, yeah, that's it. That's the thing. And I would follow on, and then that would take me to a new encounter and a new learning and a new opening, and my life just changed drastically in the next few years. So before I knew it, I had made some wonderful soulmates, had amazing connections. My first experience of transcendental sex and tantra, and I was really plunged into this mystery of sacred sexuality. And life really was magic in every way. And I thought, okay, yeah, this is it. I'm getting somewhere. Finally, with tantric sexuality, which I didn't learn through workshops, I actually went into experientially through those soulmate connections, what I call soulmate connections. And it really made the connection for me. I felt divine, and I felt embodied, and I felt sacred, and I felt connected, and all the dots were connected finally at last. And the divine and the mundane were connected in me and in that moment, and with another, and also within me, just in myself. So I started to pursue that, and I looked at Tantra and Taoism, did lots of trainings, and continued the journey until it became my new profession. So from a musician, I shifted to Tantra practitioner, sexual healer, eventually coach, teacher, mentor. My deep yearning is to convey the message of sacred relating, sacred sexuality, really coming from the soul when we connect with others, when we relate, and transforming our experience of relationship in our communities, and the synergy and the partnerships that we create with each other, and also a sense of wholeness that we can feel deep inside. So that's how it's all worked out for me.
Okay. Amazing. Well, it seems like we're talking about two different levels in a way. One is the kind of level of problem and mundaneness and all the stuff that goes on around this energy, which is kind of, well, it's kind of abused, misused, misunderstood, overwhelming, all this kind of thing. And then this other magical level you're talking about of soul connection and tantra and sacred sexuality. Can I ask you first about the kind of problem area, the stuff we get into? You talked about being miserable in love, you're falling in love. People do fall in love, don't they? And they're not always happy and make bad choices. There's guilt, as you mentioned. There's all this religious stuff. There's cultural problems. There's that weird paradigm in probably Catholicism, virgin slut kind of idea for women, suppression of the feminine, blah, blah, blah. What about all of that? How do people navigate that stuff?
Well, mostly they don't.
Right.
and that's what I've been finding. So most people have to deal with inner conflict, and they can be more liberated in some ways, but there's always a price to pay There are very few people that don't struggle with that to some extent, because the conditioning is so deeply rooted, and it's just so old. And there is good news, though, and I think the solution is to building communities. So if I'm starting to have a bit of a revolution of my own, and I'm wanting to transform my relationships and my sexuality and so on, but everybody around me is still in the old paradigm, it's going to be hard for me to sustain that, and even to find like-minded people, or people who have the same values or same aspirations as me. It's we see that when people are dieting, right? So you want to diet and everybody else is eating whatever they like. If you don't get that support, it's much harder to do on your own, anything at all. So also with relationships, I find that it's important to build more communities around conscious relating, not just for sexuality or for sexual relationships, just all relationships, to have more partnerships, community projects, and just community settings, which is what I'm doing with my Soulmate Connections groups. I really encourage people to meet and relate from this new place, and to find what synergy naturally arises when the paradigm is not a selfish one, or one of just following on from the inherited conditioned beliefs and guidelines. So that's what I'm finding, and the more people can find small pockets or larger pockets of people with similar aspirations and ideals and desires, then the better able we all are to take our relationships to the next level.
Well, so in this whole confusing field, which is a bit overwhelming for a lot of people, and then suddenly somebody hears about tantra, or they hear about polygamy, polyamory, and all this kind of thing. What about all this exploration that's going on now? For some people, it's kind of scary. Polyamory, is kind of becoming very in vogue now. What about this kind of exploration? Does that lead often to something new happening for people?
Yes, there is a tendency for that collectively, I feel, and it does come with its dangers, I guess. I mean, polyamory is not an easy way out of a dysfunctional relationship. And unfortunately, a lot of people are hoping for this. It's not really working with their partner. They think, maybe if we open it up a little bit, it's going to be better. But actually, it usually isn't, if that's the starting point. Because polyamory requires commitment to more people, actually, and requires availability and transparency. The positive side to it is that people are starting to look at their relationship contracts and realizing they don't have to be one type of contract, and that they can work out what it is really fulfills them and really expresses them authentically, and then have agreements around that. Most people who are new to this would benefit from some kind of guidance, like I said, some community that will support this lifestyle and those kinds of choices. There are some dangers too, as well. Personally, I don't find it to be an easy path. I find it quite demanding. It might seem really appealing, to have variety and whatnot, and not be uber attached to one person. Yeah, it's great, but it's a demanding style of relating, and it would take a bit of energy. One needs to have enough energy to sustain this kind of thing, I find. Yeah.
So, for me, it seems like that many years ago, we might be talking thousands of years ago, perhaps, that sexuality and spirituality were not separate. You had priestesses that were very kind of sexual, often in some cultures. But nowadays, with religion, we have, the sins of the flesh and all these ideas, that the body is a sinful path and the spirit is the way and the pure thing and superior to the body. So how do you start to unite body, sex, and spirit together?
It's a good question, isn't it?
I want the answer now.
Right, 2 minutes?
Yeah.
All right, where do we begin? Let me start with a slightly different angle here. You probably have noticed popularity of explorations, out-of-body explorations like astral travel and lucid dreaming. I'm sure this is something people hear more and more about. And I myself have been exploring that because we can identify ourselves more with our non-corporeal aspect, with the spiritual aspect, which is greater than the body and exists also beyond it. And it's kind of easy. It's much easier to be spiritual like that. It's less messy and it just has much. It's less demanding. It's when we focus more on our identity that's non-corporeal or disembodied, out of body, then that is, of course, very close to the essence of spirit. Therefore, it's easy. But the hard part is to do it through the body, because the body is an extension of the spirit. It's given life by the spirit. It's the temple, right? And this is where Tantra, I feel, has a great advantage, that it's an embodied spirituality, and it aspires to a state of liberation through the body and with the body. So you are spiritual and you take your body with you. I find there's great value in that, and it's easy to be spiritual without the body, but if we have bodies, surely there's a reason we do that. And surely the journey is to be more embodied rather than less embodied.
I agree with you totally.
And I find the Taoists have it the right way around. Some of the tantric, yogic traditions focus more on the transcending the body, moving beyond, the expanded states, whereas the Taoists focus on the physiology a lot more. And they're interested in living, breathing, sexing spirituality. And they're saying, well, spirit can take care of itself because spirit is fine. It's the body to look after, and for us to embody those virtues, the spiritual virtues. And the proof that we've done that is we have good health, we've got good vitality, we've got good relationships, good families, good homes, functionality in our lives. That's somebody who is actually living out the virtues of spirit.
Brilliant. Let me ask you. Sexual energy in a kind of mundane relationship, I guess this is kind of what goes on. Sexual tension builds and then it's released, and then great, and then it builds and it's released. But in more Taoist and tantric practices, this energy can be circulated, can't it?
Yes, that's right.
For yourself and between two people. Can you say something about this energy circulation?
Yes, absolutely. So first of all, the sexual center is thought of as a powerhouse. It's a gateway through which we can gather energy into our body, into our being. So the sex is designed to generate and to multiply energy. And it's very efficient in doing that. And that would be felt as a sexual desire or tension or arousal. The Taoists realize that this is very useful, right? Because you need energy for everything. But you just have a peak orgasm and then spend it all with very little consciousness and not doing very much, not even procreating, right? Is a waste. So the Taoists have a very complex sexual cultivation practices and different ways of circulating the energy, also drawing it and storing it and distilling it and doing all kinds of very wonderful things with it to enhance different aspects of the being. So one way in which you circulate the energy is to take it around what is known as the microcosmic orbit. So if we imagine an energy pathway going around our bodies, we can focus on the upper part, the torso and the head, and it would be going down the front of the body, then changing direction of the perineum, going up the spine, and around the top of the head, changing direction again. So it's going down the front and up the back. There's an extended loop that also includes the legs in a figure of 8. And one basic Taoist practice would be to circulate the energy around this circuit. And that feeds the whole of the body and strengthens the auric field and makes use of that sexual energy instead of just letting it be released very quickly.
Yeah.
We can also connect that with our centers. So, for example, we can use it for vitality and nourish our core, our sense of personal power. We can also bring it through the heart and make it more healing, loving energy, refine it further, also through our higher intelligence, through the brain center, the third eye equivalent, and find the spiritual essence of it, and then again bring it down and just keep passing it through our centers, feeding and nurturing all the aspects of ourselves. And of course it can be circulated with a partner, where we can merge our energies and circulate each other's energies.
Great. So let me ask you finally one final question. I know you're going to lead a meditation shortly, so my last question is, soulmates, are we destined to meet a kind of one person, or are there many people that can become soulmates?
I believe, and my experience suggests, that we have many, 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 many soulmates.
That's great.
Yeah, absolutely. So there's a very high probability that you will meet at least one, probably lots of them. I have found that it just helps in so many ways to bring the perspective to the soul perspective, and to experience myself as a spiritual being, as a soul, having an experience in this human body, and then allowing that to guide me. Because as I tune into that, then I'm likely to make those encounters, have those encounters, meet those people, and have those special partnerships and connections. I find they're not all romantic. They can be other types of partnerships, or familial relationships, friendships, and the quality of them is they further our growth, our personal growth and our collective growth, because that's what the soul's here for, is to learn and to grow. And we have a great sense of satisfaction or fulfillment when we do that. And the other aspect of it is, of course, we share love. There's a benevolence that can easily flow between us when we connect from this place. And a compassion that's been missing from our relationships for a very long time. Compassion, kindness, loving trust are great qualities to tap into. And the more we bring ourselves to that place inside and start to connect from that place, the more this will manifest in our relationships.
Gorgeous.
Indeed.
Great. So, Elena, I'm going to let you take the center stage for meditation, and I have no idea what you're going to do, but I'm passing it over to you.
All right. Well, what I'm going to do today is I'm going to guide you through a process to connect deeply with yourself, with your three intelligences, and to find that place in yourself that will evoke the soul connections, and also that sense of wholeness and integration within, that will inform your relationships as well. It's based on a Taoist practice, 3 minds in one, adapted somewhat for the purposes of today's exercise, let's say. All right, so just take a moment to sit comfortably. You can also do this standing if you prefer. Maybe shake joints loose a little bit. Make sure that you are upright, but without straining in any way. Just feeling your spine stacked, all your bones aligned in a natural way. And just take a few deep breaths, coming into yourself, coming into your being. And as you take the next deep breath in and exhale, bring your awareness to the center of your brain. And imagine breathing in and out of this place. And with every breath, you feel an expansion. And imagine lighting a light right at the center of your brain. This light is shining bright, radiating out in every direction. This is your highest intelligence. This is the place where you can receive intuition, inspiration. And there is no end to the wisdom that is available to you. So allow that to open up and feel that ease, the spaciousness and availability for wisdom, knowing, intuition, inspiration to arise. Feel a certain peace and an absence of thought in this knowing presence. And any intention you may have, this can simply be brought to your awareness easily and effortlessly. And you might hold an intention lightly and trust that it will manifest. This is what this space can do for you, what your higher intelligence, your higher dantian can do for you. And with a smile, appreciating, taking another deep breath in, exhaling. And with the next deep breath in and exhalation, allow your awareness to drop into the heart. And start to feel the space in your heart and light another light right in the center of your heart. And this space of the heart, the middle dantian, is another kind of wisdom. This is the seat of your soul, the seat of your joy, all your treasures, gifts, and talents, everything that your soul desires and longs for. So start to feel into all of those qualities and this longing in your heart, feeling it fresh and alive, bringing you joy, smiling inside, and that light shining brighter still. And feel the great power of the heart as you breathe in and out. It's a powerful tool for transformation. It transforms all energies that pass through it. And every energy that passes through the heart turns into healing, loving energy. Here you can feel yourself connected with everything and everyone, all the resources, all the people, all the partnerships, everything that your soul would like you to connect, to express. So feel into that gorgeous soul expression as it unfolds from your heart joyously, reaching out to connect with those that you will form those partnerships and create beautiful connections with. It's all in your heart. And with this loving, healing energy, only love can arise through those connections. So you may smile inside and appreciate this gorgeous heart and all those gifts and talents that you have within you. And this inner wisdom around what really brings you joy and fulfillment and what is true to you. You can find this here in your heart. So smile, acknowledge this great power that you have within. As you take a few more deep breaths and allow your heart to feel stronger and more vital and warmer and joyous. And with the next deep breath, exhale and allow your awareness to drop deeper into your body in the belly. And now breathing in and out through the belly and feeling another intelligence there. And light another light deep in your core. And this is a center of personal power. This is your sense of identity, and this is a place where you can be grounded and connected with the earth, with this beautiful planet. This is where you can really feel yourself standing strong, taking your place in the world, feeling really wholesome, feeling good and vital in your body, and allowing a natural instinct to live within you. Because your body knows what's good for you and knows the places that are nurturing and nourishing and strengthening the things and the people and the situations that make you feel stronger. And here's where you can have the confidence to be who you are and to make that statement and to leave your mark in this world. Maybe fighting fewer battles, just being yourself in that quiet, strong presence of simply being in your body right here, right now. So this is where you might feel that inner silent power of being, your center of gravity. And allow the light inside to grow deeper and stronger. It's as though you have your very own personal sun in there. And take strength from it and feel the trust in yourself and feel the confidence, the quiet confidence arising, where you don't need to prove anything or to become anyone. You can just be yourself as you are right here, right now. This is exactly perfect. And you can trust your instinct as you move through life, as you navigate your walk on this beautiful planet, Earth. And just take a few moments to scan your entire body from head all the way to toe. And remembering those three lights, the light in the center of your brain, the light in the center of your heart, and the light in the center of your belly. And imagine them being connected through a thread of light that connects all of these three centers and reaches out off the top of your head into the heavens and reaches down through your perineum all the way down into the earth. And feel yourself aligned, whole, complete. And as you get ready to come back into the room and to continue with your daily activities, just remember this sense and remember this alignment and remember all those sources of information and strength and magic that you have inside you. And next time you meet someone, remember to be whole as you meet this person. And next time you do some work, remember to be whole like this again. And next time you do something fun for pleasure, entertainment, or when you meet your partner in a sexual encounter, just remember that wholeness that you have and connect from all of those places with your partner, bringing all of yourself to them. Wonderful. So just gently, if you close your eyes, you can start to open them again. Open them again gently, maybe close them again, come back into the awareness. Open your eyes briefly. Close them again briefly. Finding that alignment again. I'm opening your eyes and now keeping them open back in the room, but still having that special sense of alignment and strength and empowerment within. Thank you.